Right, stage 3. This is for really serious builders here, and you've got a bit of a choice in your path here. Do you actually keep investing in your SV6, or do you start to redirect those funds and actually buy a V8 based platform? I'm taking for granted that you're watching this video that you want to stick with the SV6, but my personal recommendation would be to spend this next money on the V8. But just so you're hell-bent on the SV6, let's keep going. I'll tell you more mods for the SV6. Alright, so once you've done the mods that I've talked about in stage 1 and 2, your next route here for more horsepower is really forced induction. Now, we can't find too much information about turbo kits, but there are some supercharger kits, particularly around that sort of turbo style Vortex side mount supercharger. I can't find any sort of top mount superchargers for an SV6. Tell me if I've got that wrong, but I can't find any. And Kappa seems to be the main brand that makes these side mount superchargers. Now, some of these are pretty impressive, like you're getting an extra 100 kilowatts over and above factory. That's pretty cool for an SV6, and they sound pretty good too. Now, when you're heading into this territory, this is when you really need to start thinking about fuel systems and, making sure you've got all the electrical side of things catered for. You've obviously got a tune that matches, but fuel pump and fuel delivery is going to be your biggest issue here. Now, just so you're running a manual gearbox, I definitely recommend with this sort of power output to go with a bit bigger, more higher performance orientated clutch. Potentially something like an organic or a ceramic. And yeah, the factory clutch ain't going to cut it, particularly if you're going to be a little bit hard and leaning on it. So definitely upgrade on that. I don't know what your options are here, particularly if you've got an automatic, but I particularly wouldn't be using an SV6 to do drag racing. But if you are going to do a bit of spirited driving, definitely a transcooler. If you are heading into this territory here and you've done the chassis and suspension mods we talked about in stage 1, now I'd be thinking about, do you really need some coilovers or some better control arms and better toe and adjustment arms here for your suspension? But again, you've got to ask your question, could you and should you be spending this money on a V8 based platform and actually have your plateau a lot higher than where you're going to cap out on the SV6? Alright, I've got a couple of golden rules that go together here with these mods, and they are the following. Start with a plan and a goal in mind. Where do you see this SV6 build going towards? And that way you won't over-capitalise on your build. So start with the goal in mind. Secondly, use the best quality components and parts you can find. Don't go get some stuff off eBay and all that and cobble it together and do it on the cheap. Big investment, obviously in the mods and obviously in the SV6 you've already got already. Don't scrimp. Thirdly, do these mods in logical groups. Air, fuel, exhaust tune as an example. Don't just do one and 6 months later do another. Make sure you save up and do them in bundles because they logically go together and you'll get the most out of it and more reliability and performance.